one of the problems is that the way we live oftentimes does not lend itself to sustainability. In the communities that we live in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our subdivisions, the behaviors and the attitudes that we oftentimes see in practice, because of course we don't do it ourselves, are not behaviors and attitudes that are sustainable. And over the years, the intentional community movement has picked up a lot of steam. Part of it is because people are starting to feel, even when they can't put words to it, but they're starting to feel like something just doesn't feel good about the way my day goes from the time I wake up in the morning until the time I pass out of exhaustion at night, either out of fatigue or out of disgust or out of frustration, but something doesn't feel good about the way we live. And if we throw on top of that, we're having health problems. The things that we eat, as we now are finding out, because we're very sophisticated and the knowledge that we have access to is great, we're finding out that the stuff we're putting into our bodies isn't so good for us either. In my looking, some things that I found out. We live in a time where we have access to information and technology to do a lot of things. We know how to be food sustainable. There's some wonderful examples. If you get on the internet and look at Catholic Freedom or any number of communities or individuals, they're able to be food sustainable on very small parcels of land. Pasadena, California. I grew up in California. The thought of someone being food sustainable in Pasadena just blows my mind. But on approximately 1/10 of an acre, a family is able to be almost food sustainable. Pasadena is not country. For those of you that aren't numbers people, 1/10 of an acre is about 4,000 square feet. Okay. A very small subdivision-style home would be about 1,500 square feet. A modest-sized family home would be about 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. Imagine a family taking that amount of footprint and being food sustainable. We have the technology to be able to do it. We have the technology to be able to collect things like rainwater and very inexpensively filter that water so that it's suitable for drinking or cooking. We have the ability to develop very sophisticated systems and cisterns and waste treatment facilities and gray water runoff spaces and things like that. We have the ability to become water sustainable. We have the technology and the ability and the knowledge base and the resources to be able to build shelter. One of the types of shelters that has been an interest to me for a variety of reasons has been an ultra-cheap type of housing structure called a Hexier. In 45 minutes and some building materials and MacGyver tape, you can put up a structure that would be sufficient in any crisis, but it's transitional housing, camping housing, whatever the case may be, for a couple of $100s. Tents, shipping containers, yurts, teepees, solar-activated houses with special technology touchpads that control it from 1,000 miles away. We have the technology to be able to do that. So what's wrong with the intentional community movement? What's wrong with the developers' dream of building wonderful places to live? And one of the things that I found out is while we spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of resources dealing with the physical structures, very little time goes into developing sustainable behaviors and attitudes that must go hand in hand with the sustainable living.